CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, August 3rd, 2012. The July job numbers just came in this morning. The United States economy added 163,000 new jobs for the month. Analysts had been expecting 100,000 jobs. Unfortunately, the unemployment rate ticked up from 8.2 to 8.3%, so as usual, both candidates will be able to get something out of it in the presidential race. Well, we may have our first big storm looming. Tropical storm Ernesto has just passed over. We're near the island of St. Lucia. It's moving into the eastern Caribbean right now. It has maximum sustained winds of only about 45 miles per hour, but there's some strengthening forecast over the next 48 hours. The tropical storm warning is already in effect for Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica, and St. Lucia. Ernesto's current forecast track shows it possibly becoming a hurricane next week as it heads towards the Gulf of Mexico. So people have their eyes on this right now. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the death toll from Typhoon Seola increased today to 42 in the Philippines and Taiwan. It's now a tropical storm. It slammed into China last night. We'll talk about that in a second. Typhoon Damri also made landfall in China as well last night. The Philippines have recorded 37 deaths. Taiwan residents spent today cleaning up storm damage and returning to work. The storm packed a 97-mile-per-hour wind field, and it also dumped 6 feet of rain on the island, killing 7 people. It weakened into a tropical storm before it made landfall in China's southeastern province of Fujian. It only had winds of about 55 miles per hour. It was the second tropical cyclone to make landfall in China in more than 9 hours, less than 9 hours, after Typhoon Damri hit the eastern province of Jiangsu on Thursday night. While the Thai floods are still with us, even though it had a profitable quarter, Allianz revealed that they've added 120 million euros to its loss reserves for the Thai losses. They've now joined the ranks of Lancashire and SCOR, who have also increased their loss estimates for the Thai floods. American International Group, the insurer majority owned by the U.S. Treasury, said profit increased 27% on investments and improvements at its property and casualty unit. Net income jumped to about $2.3 billion a share from $1.84 billion a share a year earlier. 68-year-old Bob Benmosh, the CEO, is counting on growth at the P&C unit called Chartis Insurance to attract private capital in the company and to help the United States government reduce its stake. Well, yesterday we had our first major casualty of the high-speed trading war on Wall Street. You know what that is. Those are those electronic trades that consummate themselves in a matter of microseconds, competing against other computers around the world, all matching algorithms, watching movement of stock. Humans aren't involved. Well, they may soon be. Knight Capital Group, which handles 11% of all trades in the United States, is in danger of collapsing after a software glitch triggered millions of unintended orders. The group lost $440 million in less than an hour yesterday. It's about 4 times the company's profit last year. The blunder, which Knight said was caused by a bug, a large bug, they did say, in its computer systems, caused a lot of problems. Major clients such as Vanguard, E-Trade, Ameritrade, which rely on Knight to fill orders, pulled out. Knight is trying to get rescue funding as we speak. The problem is that it highlights concerns on Wall Street and in Washington about structural flaws in the system. Observers are worried that reliance on computer-driven trading, where stocks are bought and sold in the blink of an eye, could lead to a major equities meltdown. One observer said the ghosts in the machine have gotten out of control. There are increasingly more problems, and we haven't been able to identify the difficulties. Air India has pledged not to accept any of the Boeing 787 Dreamliners it has on order until U.S. government investigators determine why one of those planes' engines failed during a pre-flight taxi test in Charleston, South Carolina last week. Air India could not be reached to confirm the position. Boeing would not comment. Air India was supposed to receive its first 787 in June, but the Indian government has not yet accepted Boeing's offered compensation for more than 3 years of delivery delays. There was a 4.2 earthquake on the Richter scale in Kuwait last night. It was near the town of Samaya. No injuries were reported. Oddly enough, an online journal had earlier reported a local quake expert at Kuwait University as saying that the area might be vulnerable to an earthquake of 8.0 or greater on the Richter scale. The same expert warned that such a quake in that area could in fact affect the Iranian nuclear plant at Bushehr, which in fact it happened. She said that it could be, she referred it to the tsunami effects in Japan that knocked out the Fukushima nuclear plant. She urged Gulf countries to give up their nuclear programs because she said they are time bombs that will destroy the region when the anticipated earthquake strikes. Well, we've been following this story. Nobody else seems to be on it, but we'll keep on it. Ugandan health officials are now monitoring over 200 people in Kampala, the capital, who have had close contact with Ebola patients, as the country is trying to curb the spread of the deadly disease that has claimed 16 lives already. A total of 30 patients are in isolation wards and hospitals in Kampala, and the government is actively and closely following up on 232 other people who have had contact with these sick people. These contacts thus far have shown no signs of any development of Ebola, but they're watching them and keeping them in isolation. The government once again urged anybody who has had any contact or has reason to think that they have had contact with anybody with Ebola or exposure to someone with Ebola to avoid shaking hands and avoid attending large gatherings. Again, as we mentioned, Kampala is a 6-hour plane flight from London. From there, anything can happen. That's the news for today. Have a good weekend. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you Monday.